Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. Family, this video is about the Minneapolis police who have now finally changed their body cam policy. A little too late. We've been asking for this a long time ago. Nonetheless, let's get to the story. Minneapolis police will make fundamental changes in the department's body camera policy in the wake of an officer-involved shooting that is drawing worldwide scrutiny. Interim Police Chief Medaria Arredondo announced Wednesday that beginning this weekend, every officer on the force will be required to immediately activate their body camera each time they are dispatched on an event or when they initiate an interaction with someone they encounter. Quote, "What good is a camera when it is not being used when it is needed the most?" Arredondo asked. Well, yeah, that's a good question. And again, black people have been asking this question quite a long time. Furthermore, if you really want to make this policy a really good policy, you would have the officer activate the body camera the full 8 hours or 10 hours they're on the job. That would be the best body cam policy you could put in place. Why? Because as taxpayers paying their salaries, we would get a chance to see what the officers do the full portion of their day, instead of just, hanging out at donut shops. Like I said, a great, excellent policy, body cam policy, would be to have the officer activate the body cam the full duration they're on duty. That would be the best. But I digress. Let's get back to the article. And situations in which body cameras must be activated include any contact involving allegations of criminal activity, including contact with reporting person, victim, suspect, or witness. Suspicious person stops, vehicle pursuits, any search of person, vehicles, or buildings, when advising person of Miranda rights, any use of force situation, and tactical or forced entries. Arredondo says the policy change takes effect this Saturday. Arredondo said the department has purchased auto activation technology that is being installed in squad cars, which will automatically turn on the body cameras of officers inside the vehicle when lights and sirens are activated. The new policy also clarifies the disciplinary range for officers who don't activate their body cameras. Sanctions can range from a 10-day suspension to termination.
From this day forward in the Minneapolis Police Department, we want to add strength to our expectations. Body-worn cameras must be on. This policy change will become active in 3 days, which requires officers to turn on their cameras when dispatched to any call or any self-initiated activity. I'm clarifying intent in the policy so officers know it is required to activate their body-worn cameras. We're putting clear in policy the range of discipline, but we are also making it clear that it has always been true that the full range of discipline was available and existed. This month we have been training our supervisors to conduct auditing of their officers' body-worn cameras. This supervisor audit training has helped to shape, strengthen, and clarify our policy. We are not passing judgment on a single officer, nor are we looking at a single event. We are responding to our communities and to recent ongoing assessment.
But then, family, on another note, this same case where the police officer, who is an American first, and then a police officer second, he happens to be portrayed in the media as a Somalian, to disassociate his Americanism, but nonetheless, he is an American. This police officer, his community in particular, have now been the target of racial hate and trolls online and things of that nature. And the leader, at least in the community, is speaking out. And here's what he has to say.
Amid the calls for justice for Justine, one Minneapolis Somali leader also been racist blowback against their community.
We have a tragedy at hand, and we have a community that's frightened. And that's what I want to highlight. That's the reason why we're here.
Officer Mohammed Noor, who pulled the trigger and killed Justine Damon, is Somali American. And Minneapolis City Council member Abdi Warsami is calling for an end to racism and Islamophobia that he says has targeted their community since then, mostly through online and social media comments. But he specifically called out former Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann for insinuating in a speech last week that Noor may have shot Damon for cultural reasons.
But when you have somebody like Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, go on, I don't know, TV or radio and say that this was done because he was a Muslim, I think that's unacceptable.
A lot has happened in the week since the shooting. Minneapolis Police Chief Janae Harto, in a news conference Thursday, said the shooting shouldn't have happened.
Justine did not have to die.
Then, the next day, Harto resigned.
I will not be resigning.
Mayor Betsy Hodges that night said she isn't going anywhere, then was shouted off the podium by protesters.
That's what we've been working on.
Meantime, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is nearing the end of its investigation into the shooting after finding and interviewing a bicyclist who stopped and watched officers perform CPR on Damon. From there, the BCA will turn the case over to the Hennepin County Attorney to decide whether to charge the officer. Officer Noor still hasn't talked to the BCA, and his attorney hasn't indicated one way or another whether he plans to. Interim Police Chief Madaria Arredondo has not named interim chief on Friday. The City Council will have to approve Arredondo before he can take the title permanently.
So before I end this video, I want to point out one last thing. It's about the bicyclist. The one that they said watch the police officer give the victim CPR. Yeah, that bicyclist. Remember, the whole point of this tragedy is that she called the police because there was an incident happening right around her home. That's what called the police out to her home, is that there was a situation happening and she was scared. She was fearful. She called the police. That's why she called the police. It seems like people have lost sight of that. Moving on, that bicyclist could have been actually a criminal. Someone who was lurking around her house, maybe peering through her windows or whatnot. Who knows? But it's awfully coincidental that the bicyclist is now looked at as maybe some sort of hero just because he watched the police give this lady CPR. I think this is really reckless. I think they really should be looking at what was he doing there previously. That's what really should be talked about. And they're not. They're not even concerned about that. They forgot about why she had the police called out there in the first place. And here's this bicyclist. And here he is, mysteriously, he shows up when they're giving her CPR. And oh, now he's of interest, but in another kind of way. Well, that's just my thoughts anyways. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Tell me what your thoughts are. Peace and love. If you haven't subscribed already, take a moment to do so. Thanks.